I like being diversified. So if the market is kicking me in the teeth, which it'll do from time to time, I've got my other businesses.
You know, a lot of my friends that, one we've either interviewed or got to know, I don't think they're as diversified with their funds that you are, right? Because not only, you're successful inside of the business, online businesses that we've got together, you're successful as your own brand as a trader. You trade inside the market as well, but then you invest into, you're big into angel investing. Speak, like, how did you get, like, what was your process for getting all those four dialed in? Was it just trial and error and then you kept stacking? Like, what was that journey like for you?
So it's trial and error, and it's being in the right place at the right time. But and a lot of people say like luck doesn't have anything to do with it. I think luck does have something to do with it. I think we all have about the same amount of luck, and you have to strike while the iron's hot, right? I think we all have about the same amount of luck. Now, the harder you work, I think more opportunities come your way. Mine kind of always started from like in college when I was trying to figure out. I think I took like a Carl J. Given seminar or something like that with an Anthony Robbins seminar when I was a sophomore in college. I was like, oh, this is cool. And I was trying to figure out how to invest in mutual funds. And I put like $2,000 in a mutual fund that I didn't really have. And then I looked at it a year later. I'm like, well, shit, it didn't do anything. Like this is stupid. Why? I could do something else with this money. So then I started looking at the business world, and I ran onto this mail order thing from Jay Abraham, which if y'all don't know about Jay Abraham, he's a direct mail consultant and stuff like that. And I placed an order for this book called The Secrets of Mr. X. And it was $495, of which I was in college. I did not have, but I'm like, I'm going to see what this is. And I highlighted almost every word for that thing. And basically what it was, there was this guy that took Jay Abraham's all of his business philosophy and put them in one big 400-page book. And then he was going to sell it, but he didn't tell Jay about it. Jay got wind of it, caught him, and said, hey, we can do this one of two ways. Either I'm going to sue you. He's going to serve him with a cease and desist or sue him. Or you can give me all the material. We'll package it up and we'll use this as the story to sell it. I'm like, oh, that's a cool way to like turn lemons into lemonade. I was like, that's pretty interesting. The book was amazing and taught me most of what I know about marketing. And then I would start going to other businesses and I'd be real curious, like, hey, how much does that cost? Like, hey, where do you get your supply from? Like, how do you incentivize your salespeople? Like, how do you follow up with your customers and stuff like that? And people are like, dude, why are you so nosy about my business? I'm like, dude, I'm just curious. I just love business and trying to figure out how to improve businesses. I did that for half a dozen businesses. And I was like, well, shit, this is a business. I was like, I'm going to start charging these people for anything that I improve. Like, hey, I can increase your cash flow or your revenue by 30%. I want a piece of that. So then I started doing that. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to go into business for myself. So then I started up a quick lube on wheels, which is basically you haul a trailer around and you change people's oil either in their driveway or if they had a fleet of vehicles. Like I had contracts with Hertz, Budget, Avis, airport, all that good stuff. I was running some middleman markup stuff through a transmission shop. So oddly enough, people think if you can change oil, you're a mechanic, which I was not. I mean, I knew enough to be dangerous. We'd go on site and they're like, we got this forklift. Can you change oil? And I'm like, well, sure I can. It's got a drain plug on it. It can't be that damn hard. I'd figure out how to do it and then I would do it. It was a tractor trailer. Like, hey, can you do that? I'm like, absolutely. And I had no idea how to do it. And I just figured out how to do it. So the people would say, hey, we got a transmission issue. I'm like, I don't know shit about transmissions. So I would work a deal with the local transmission shop. He'd charge me $600 to $800. And then I would charge the client, $1,200 to $1,400 because that was the going rate for it. And I'd just make the middleman markup. One day he said, hey, come on back here. We'll settle up one of these invoices you owe me money for. I'm trading. We'll have lunch. I sat next to this guy and watched him make like $30,000 in 18 minutes. And I was like, how did you do that? And he goes, oh, I'm just trading this and that. And long story short, I ended up sitting on an upside down trash can next to this guy. And then I started being an apprentice for him for like 18 months. And in the process, I sold that other business off to a buddy of mine. And then we sold that off to Valvoline. And then I just started trading. And then I've been trading ever since. And then after I made enough money in my other businesses and trading, I was also investing in other people's business for either capital, a part of the cash flow, or part of the revenue, right? It depends on how all the deals were set up differently. Some of it you owned a percentage of the ownership and some of it you didn't get ownership, but you got a percentage of the cash flow. And I've just been doing that ever since. And then how I got started in the angel investing stuff. Well, how I actually got started in the trading business was Me and another partner of mine got asked by the Chicago Board of Trade to teach people how to trade Dow minis, because that was one of the most popular products that we were trading at the time, and not a lot of other people were trading it. And we were working for a firm in New York. I think it was called Pally Capital, as hired guns for hedge funds and stuff. And they're like, hey, and the CBOT would come by and ask us like, hey, do you mind doing a couple road shows and teaching people how you do this? And we're like, nah, we're kind of busy. They came back a second time. We're like, nah. Third time, like, all right, we'll do it. I didn't know that it was not common for you to trade on stage in front of people and just tell them what you were doing, because I didn't have a PowerPoint. I know that's the thing. I was like, all right, here's what we're going to do. Markets are open. Let's trade these things. We end up making money, and then we got rushed by people in the audience. And I was like, they're just asking basic questions on how this works. So I was like, okay. We went to another talk. We got rushed again. Now, luckily, we made money on both of those. If we wouldn't, they would have probably like, well, you guys suck, and they ask questions, right? And they're like, well, how did you know how to do this, that, and other thing? I'm like, we don't know anything. We've got incomplete information. We're making the best educated guess we can. And I was like, oh shit, this is a business. Like, teaching people how we trade for a living, whether we're making money on a day, week, month, or year basis, they still need to know how to trade.
Absolutely.
So I like being diversified. So if the market is kicking me in the teeth, which it'll do from time to time, I've got my other businesses. If my other businesses are doing good, I don't have to work as hard as trading. Or if I'm killing in trading, I can take some of those profits and invest it in other angel investing startups, which will pay me out in 6 to 10 years, and they'll be like a 20x return. So I like to spread it around. I like being diversified.